Good day everyone, my name is Jessica Nadine Rodriguez and today I will be discussing the lesson 41 up to lesson 46. So let's start with the lesson 41. In lesson 41, we will be discussing the related numbers in a sentence. But before that, let me introduce the theory words, brief forms, and phrases that is present here in lesson 41. It helps us to improve our dictation speed. So here it is. In theory words, we have the word mic, locker, second, 11 a.m., useful, and return. Those are the words that is present in our theory words. In brief forms, we have the word ours, this, where, there, after, when, with, and them. And now for the phrases we have I will be glad. We have you have, I am sure, you will be able, and lastly we have on the. So I will be glad, you have, I am sure, you will be able, and on the. Our topic for lesson 41 is related numbers in a sentence. In previous lessons, the following numbers rules were presented. Spell out the numbers 1 through 10 within a sentence. Use figures for the numbers 11 and above within a sentence. If a number is used at the beginning of a sentence, spell it out. And in this lesson, we have an additional number rules. If there is a series of related numbers 1 to 10 in a sentence, express all of them in words. If one or more of the related numbers is above 10, write all of them in figures. Let's have an examples. We have here there are So there are 5 secretaries and 8 assistants. If we will going to transcribe it, we will transcribe the 5 and 8 figures into word. So since 5 and 8 are numbers from 1 to 10, we have to write them in a words like this. So there are 5 secretaries and 8 assistants. Let's have another example. So we ordered 6 notebooks and 30 envelopes. If we were going to transcribe it, the 30 figure and 6 figures will remain the same since 30 is above 10. So in longhand, we will write them like this. we ordered 6 notebooks and 30 envelopes. 30 is above 10, that is why we will going to write them in figure form. Let's have our last example. So, we purchased 15 tapes and 20 records. Since 15 and 20 are numbers that is above 10, we will write them in the same figure. So we purchased 15 tapes and 20 records. That is how we use related numbers in a sentence. Always remember that if there is a number that is number from 1 to 10, you have to spell them out in words. If there is a one or more numbers that is above 10 in a sentence, you have to write them in a figure form. Let's move on to the lesson 42. In lesson 42, we also have theory words and phrases. It will improve our dictation speed, so you may use this as a practice at home. In theory words, we have the word Garcia. So, since it is a name of a person, we have to write the capitalization mark. Next, we have pleasure. Next, we have receive. Next, we have various. Items. Return. Handle. And forward. So those are the words in theory words. Let's move on to brief forms. We also have brief forms in lesson 42. Order, products, enclosed, represent, satisfied, and business. So those are the brief forms that we have in lesson 42. Lastly, we have phrases. In phrases, we have a dear miss, we have to us, this will, we hope that, with our, and cordial yours. So those are the phrases we have in lesson 42 to improve our dictation speed. Let's move on to our main topic. So our main topic here in lesson 42 is all about the commas in a series. In this topic, we will going to talk about series comma. Sometimes people call it as a serial comma or Oxford comma. When 3 or more items are listed in a series and the last items is preceded by the word or, and, or nor, place a comma before the conjunction and between the other items. Examples. So the examples of a series comma are placed here before the conjunction and. So I had eggs, toast, and orange juice. So I had them individually. So if we remove the commas or serial comma, it will be like this. I had eggs, toast, and orange juice. So the toast and orange juice are together, or are they in the same plate, or what? So it is not clarified. That is why it is important to put a commas in series, or the serial comma. Let's have another example. And the series comma is represented by this. So let's move on to our example. The folder contained letters, memos, and forms. The example, we have the folder contained letters, memos, and forms. This is our series comma. So meetings will be held in Chicago, Boston, Los Angeles, or, so this is the series comma, or in Seattle. So the meetings will be held individually in these places: Chicago, Boston, Los Angeles, or in Seattle. So this is the series comma. If we will going to remove it, it will be like meetings will be held in Chicago, Boston, Los Angeles, or Seattle. So there is a tendency that Los Angeles is same as Seattle. So it is like the same place, or what? It is not clarified also. So that is the use of commas in a series. Now let's move on to the lesson 43. In lesson 43, we also have theory words and phrases that will help us to improve our dictation speed. So we have here the word Clark, magazine, article, effective, collection, just, kind, item, creative. Patient, months, accommodate. So those are the words in theory words in lesson 43. Let's move on to phrases. In phrases, we have thank you, very much, from our, at this time, that will. So those are the phrases we have in lesson 43. Let's now go to the main topic, which is differentiating between stationary and stationary. In lesson 43, we have similar words. We have stationary and stationary. They have the same strokes or outline, but they are totally different. stationary, and we have stationary. Those two are different things, but they have similar strokes or outline. They are written like this: stationary. So stationary is a fixed or not movable, while stationary is a writing materials. Let me give you an example. The So I have here two examples which have the word stationary and stationary. The price index is stationary, meaning to say the price index going are not going to change or will not going to change in the future. It is fixed or not movable. We have next example. I have ordered stationery with our new address. I ordered writing materials with our new address. The writing materials that I am talking about is just like this, or this marker that I am using while doing this lesson. To clarify, stationary is fixed or not movable. While stationary, they are far from each other, right? They are totally have different meaning. Stationery is a writing materials. So I will give another example for you. For the stationery, I have here the bus crashed into a stationary vehicle. So the bus bumped or crashed into a not moving vehicle. Next is stationery. I have here, they sell books and stationery. So they are selling books and writing materials. That's it for our lesson 43. Let's move on to our lesson 44. I hope you guys are still there. In lesson 44, we have theory words, brief forms, and phrases also. So up to lesson 52, we have theory words, brief forms, and phrases that will help to improve your dictation speed. So let's start for theory words. Some words here are already discussed in previous lessons, so this is just a recap. Personnel. In lesson 44, theory words, we have the words personnel committee, 2 p.m., attached, agenda, items, discussed, response, attendance, and appreciated. So those are the words that is in theory words. Now let's move on to brief forms. In brief forms, we have here the word memorandum, immediate, and regarding. So memorandum, immediate, and regarding. Those are the brief forms we have here in lesson 44. Let's move on to the phrases. We have here the phrases there will be, of the, for the, let me, if you have, to have, you will be able, and will be. So we have there will be. Next is of the. Next is for the. Next is let me. Next, we have if you have. To have. You will be able. And lastly, we have will be. So these are the phrases that is present in lesson 44. We have here that there will be, of the, for the, let me, if you have, to have, you will be able, and will be. So let's move on to the main topic here in lesson 43. In lesson 43, we also have to discuss about punctuation. We will talk about here the as, if, and when clauses. So, as, if, and when clause commas are helpful when a sentence is spoken aloud. A comma often represents a pause, which in a verbal communication functions to clarify meaning. So, here, the as, if, and when commas are represented by these. So, a group of words that begin a sentence with as, if, or when followed by a subject and predicate is an introductory clause. An introductory clause is dependent on the remaining part of the sentence and should have a comma to set it aside from the rest of the sentence. Be sure that the comma is placed at the end of the clause that is introduced by as, if, or when. So let's have an example. So, as you know, this is the as clause and this is the as clause comma. As you know, we separate the as you know from the rest of the sentence. As you know, we will be open Monday through Saturday. So that is how we use the as clause comma. So for the if clause comma example we have here, if you need additional assistance, let me know. So it's like that he or she is informing you that if you need assistance, inform me or let me know. Next we have so for the when clause, we have the example when the shipment is received, I will notify you. We separate it from the rest of the sentence because it is a introductory clause that when the shipment is received, it is like I am saying that when the shipment is received, I will notify you. So let's move on to lesson 45. In lesson 45, we also have theory words, brief forms, and phrases. We have 100, in theory words, we have the word 100 dreams, bond, delighted, first, received, firm, processed, sincere, also, and we also have We also have lowest and the industry. So we have here the catalog, lowest, and industry. Next we have brief In brief we have the word gentleman. So gentleman is represented like this. We also have order, yesterday, where, one. So the one is represented like this. Next is soon, manufacture, and the products. So these are the brief forms present in lesson 45. In phrases, we have here the phrase from you or from your. We have here it was. We also have here has been. And you should have. You should have. Next is this will be. And yours very truly. So these are the phrases present in lesson 45. We have from you or from your, it was, has been, you should have, this will be, and yours very truly. So now let's move on to the main topic in lesson 45. We have here communication skill builder, that differentiating between past and past. So past is a noun, which means time goes by, while past is a verb, which means moved from one point to another. So this is the past tense of past. So let me give you an example. Past and past. Past is a noun that is refers to a time gone by or something from, than, or used in an earlier time. So here is the example that we have in past and past. So in past, we have here, we received several requests in past week, or in the past week, meaning to say it happened last week. So for past, the past tense of past, we have here the example of the ships passed each other in the night. It is like they crossed each other in a roadway or a path lane. So that is how we use past, and past in a sentence. Past is a noun, while past is a verb. So let's move on to our lesson 46. I hope you guys still catching up. So in lesson 46, we also have theory words, brief forms, and phrases that will help us to improve our dictation speed. For theory words, we have management. We also have decided. Decided. Next, we have Camden. Camden. Customer. Customers. Next, we have official. Official. Next, we have announcement. We also have tomorrow. Next, we have woods. Next, we have Maine. Next, we have years, address, and lastly, we have letterhead. So let's put it here, letterhead. So head. So we have here management, decided, letterhead, Camden, customers, official, announcement, tomorrow, woods, Maine, years, and address. So here it is. Let's move on to brief forms. In brief forms, in lesson 46, we have the word office. Office. We also have representative. Representative. We also have several. Several. Next, we have orders. Next, we have correspondence. Correspondence. Next, we have direct. So, these are the brief forms present in lesson 46. Let's move on to the phrases. In phrases, we have here, you will be glad. I think we just done it in previous lesson. Next, we have to know. To know. Next, we have that hour. And lastly, we have we are. We are. So we have here, you will be glad to know that hour and we are. So those are the phrases, brief forms, and theory words that you will be able, or that will improve or help you to improve rather your dictation speed. So I hope you guys use it as a practice at home. So let's move on to our main topic in lesson 46. It is differentiating between counsel and counsel. So we have similar words, counsel and counsel. So those are different things, but they also have the same strokes. So we have counsel. So the difference between counsel and counsel is like, counsel is a noun, which means an assembly, committee, board, or in Tagalog, it is consejo. While counsel is a verb meaning to give advice or payo. So let's have an example. Counsel. In counsel, we have here the So the meeting of the city council will be held in February. So it is like the meeting of the committee or board or ng konseho ay gaganapin sa Pebrero. So that is a noun, council. Next we have council. In council we have So, let's use counsel in a sentence. Dr. Jennings will counsel my daughter. So, meaning Dr. Jennings will give advice to my daughter. So, that is how counsel and counsel is used in a sentence. Counsel, counsel like this. Counsel like this is a noun, and counsel like this is a verb. This is a like committee or an assembly, while this is a verb meaning to give advice or payo. And that is all for the lesson 46. So we are done with lesson 41 through lesson 46. I hope you guys learn something new. Thank you and have a good day.
Hello everyone, this is Eunice Raven Bisaya from CBET 25202E. So in this lesson 47, we will talk about punctuation, words or phrases in apposition or apposition comma. But before that, let's introduce these outlines to speed our dictation practice. For the word theory words, big, B-E-G. Next is minute, min, I-T, answer, A-N-S-E-R, answer, determine, improve, membership, expire, renewal, responding, R-S-P-O-D-P, responding, sincerely, sincerely. Or big forms of organization. Organization. Questionnaire. Questionnaire is short. Short is question. Question. Where? Where? Nevertheless. 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 Idea. Idea. Request. Request. Next is phrases of for your. For your. Will you please? Will you please? Please. Yeah. To the. To the. If you. You will be. You will be. So let's proceed to our main topic, punctuation, words or phrases in apposition. A word or phrase used in apposition is one that explains or identifies other terms. When it occurs within a sentence, it is set off by two commas. When it occurs at the end of a sentence, only one comma is used. So this is the example. The apposition comma is indicated by our auditor, comma, Mr. Santiago, then comma again, is ill today, is ill today, period. So we use two commas to explain or identifies the other term. So let's example again. I would like you to meet my mother. Meet my mother, comma, Elise Smith. Elise Smith. Elise is Smith. Then, period. So we use one comma in the end of a sentence because we should only one comma is used. Another example for two commas in a sentence within a sentence to explains or identifies. My first book, comma, business management, comma, is out of print, period. Next lesson, lesson 48, we will differentiating between lose, and loss. But before that, we will practice more about theory, brief words, and phrases to practice our writing this word using the shorthand outline. Monroe determined legally obligated expenses injured Chicago medical $5,300 issue additional department company was questions. Dear Mrs. that are as soon as possible if you have very truly yours. Let's proceed to our main topic. Similar words lose, and loss. The word lose is verb to apart with unintentionally, and lose is adjective or it means not tight, and loss is a noun that's something lost. So let's example. Miss Martin did not lose the report. Period. Miss Martin did not lose the report. Next is the word lose. The coat is to lose for me to wear. Period. The coat is too loose for me to wear. Last, the word loss. The loss of revenue is $5 million. Period. The loss of revenue is $5 million. Let's proceed to next lesson. Lesson 49. This topic is about punctuation, commas with conjunction. Conjunction, comma. But before that, we will practice writing these words using the shorthand outlines. Opened, reasonable, records, purchases, $150, yet received. State, street, where, convenience, part, after, during, envelope. To do so, we have not. Send us. Let's proceed to our main topic, punctuation, commas with conjunction. Sometimes two simple sentences are joined together. Usually the sentences are joined by a conjunction such as and, or but. This type of sentence is called a compound sentence, and the conjunction is preceded by a comma. The conjunction, comma, is indicated by today, the weather is stormy, comma, and I want to stay home. Period. Today the weather is stormy, comma, and I want to stay home. Last example. He expected to do well on the test, comma, but he failed to answer many questions. Period. He expected to do well on the test, comma, but he failed to answer many questions. Let's proceed to another lesson. Lesson 50 about punctuation, introductory expressions. But before that, let's practice writing these words using the shorthand outlines. Editor, magazine, Sandra poster, article, medical, appear, reporting, exposure, chemicals, done, doctor, publish, publication, about, thinking, that will be, sometime, we should, of this, very glad, thank you for, yours truly. Let's proceed to introductory expressions. Introductory expressions are elements such as single words, phrases, or clauses that begin the sentence and come before the subject and verb of the main clause. The comma is placed after the introductory expression. An introductory comma is indicated by these examples. Generally, comma, we do not meet on Wednesday or Friday. Generally, comma, we do not meet on Wednesday or Friday, period. To determine the publication dates, comma, we need to meet with the entire team, period. To determine the publication dates, comma, we need to meet with the entire team. Before we make the final collection, comma, check with the advertising department, period. Before we make the final collection, comma, check the advertising department, period. So for our next lesson, lesson 50, we will talk about punctuation, inductory expression, but before that, we will practice writing these words using the shorthand outlines. Foster, adequately, rebuilding, policy, 5 years, agents, insurance, property, probably, insured, you have not, you will have, has not been, one of our. Let's proceed to our main topic, punctuation. Commas with parenthetical expressions are words or phrases that are not needed for the meaning of or the grammatical completeness of the sentence. They are set off by commas. A parenthetical expression occurring at the end of a sentence needs only one comma. A parenthetical comma is indicated by today is, comma, of course, comma, a holiday, period. Today is, comma, of course, comma, a holiday, period. Tell me, comma, Tom, comma, what time you will arrive, period. Tell me, comma, Tom, comma, what time you will arrive, period. It is too cold for swimming, comma, as you know, period. It is too cold for swimming, comma, as you know. Let's proceed to lesson 52, geographic references. But before that, let's practice writing these words using the shorthand outlines. Wilson, agreeing, San Francisco, airport, Empire, flight, 3 p.m. Office, presenting, which, company, with, at, after. Thank you for, I will be, I know, I hope, to be. Let's proceed to geographic references. A comma is used to separate a city and a state. If the name of the state does not end the sentence, place a comma after the state also. A geographic comma is indicated by we will meet in Dallas, comma, Texas, period. We will meet in Dallas, comma, Texas, period. We will meet in Dallas, comma, Texas, comma, on Wednesday, period. We will meet in Dallas, comma, Texas, comma, on Wednesday, period.